It's 8:30. Good morning. I'm Ian Crouch with Hunter News. Hunter landowners will need to carry out hazard reduction burns on their own property under changes to bushfire preparations in New South Wales. The state government's accepting all 76 recommendations made in a report on the summer bushfires. They also include providing training to firefighters and caring for injured animals, especially koalas, the establishment of a research centre into bushfires, and a greater focus on the welfare of firefighters. Lake Macquarie Police are reviewing CCTV footage in the hope of identifying a man who tried to hold up a Highfield service station this morning. The man entered the Metro outlet on the Pacific Highway around 4 a.m. and ordered the console operator to hand over cash at knife point. The attendant refused and the man fled empty-handed. Anyone who saw any suspicious activity around the store at the time is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. There are calls for continued support for Hunter renters by extending the New South Wales Government's eviction moratorium. A local MP is also calling for the state government to offer hardship payments to tenants and landlords until the end of 2020. Swansea MP Yasmin Catley says there also needs to be improved access to hardship payments.
So far, that is something that we've seen very little come from the government. They've done very little in regard to this, and we need to see them supporting landlords and tenants. It's a situation where people feel that are very vulnerable if they don't have a roof over their head, or in the landlord situation if they can't pay their mortgage.
The CEO of Hunter-based health insurer NIB says the company remains in good shape despite a sharp downturn in profits. It's recorded a net profit of $89.2 million for last financial year, more than 40% down on the previous year. Managing Director Mark Fitzgibbon says although the health fund has been hit hard by COVID-19, they're not feeling the pain which many other companies are coping with. He says the number of policyholders is up by 1.9%, accounting for more than 40% of the industry's overall growth. Rural doctors in the Hunter will be able to discuss the effects of the pandemic, drought and bushfires as part of a free webinar today. The National Rural Health Commissioner is reaching out to rural health professionals to find out what support they need to keep their communities healthy. New South Wales Rural Doctors Network Chief Executive Richard Colbrand says rural practitioners across the Hunter and the state are facing unprecedented concerns and challenges.
The issues relating to natural disaster and emergency, drought and fires and now COVID-19, and the emotional impact and professional impact on them are very serious at the moment. It's very important that as a sector and as a community, we understand those pressures for our health professionals.
Lake Macquarie Council is asking residents to have their say on plans to improve Charlestown's transport. Council's draft transport management plan is open to feedback on its proposed actions, including upgrades for travel by car, walking and cycling. Council's Wesley Haynes says transport is really important as the major centres grow and develop.
We're always looking for ways to make it easier for people to move around our centres and also get to and from those centres. So as we see more development occurring, so residential unit blocks and commercial buildings happening, it's important for people to be able to get to their homes or their places of work.
2NURFM Sport.
Knights fullback Caitlin Ponga says they need to play smarter, not harder, reflecting on their 12-0 win against the Cowboys on Sunday. Newcastle scraped through the full 80 minutes but lost their new signing Blake Green in the first half to an ACL injury, which will likely rule him out for the rest of the season. Rookie Phoenix Crossland went on to play his fifth first-grade game to help secure the win. 4 Novocastrian wheelchair speedsters are eagerly awaiting the Paralympic Games next year after this year's postponement. The opening ceremony would have been held tonight in Tokyo, but instead the Paralympic hopefuls have been training in between their other priorities. Merryweather's Christy Dawes was set to make her 7th Paralympic appearance, but has used this time to focus on her 2 children and clock an A qualifying time. And Justin Ellie has finally got his hands on the Waratah Golf Club Championship after beating Hamish Ellison. The 2 golfers were stroke for stroke tied at 216 after the regulation 3 rounds, until Ellie came out on top during the 18-hole playoff. And the winning numbers in Monday Lotto are 32, 12, 42, 38, 14 and 5, and the supplementaries are 11 and 20. 2NURFM News Time, 25 to 9.